the wiggies, cause I'm off to the hole in the road. I'm walking off school and I'm off to the city, watching telly all night and I'm not looking pretty. See, I got this job downtown, selling knocked off ladies' watches for £1. For a really dodgy man that I met in a dodgy cafe. You know, he said to me, the girl who sold these yesterday wasn't selling very carefully. Police came along and took her and all my watches away. So if you see some coppers, you grab my stuff and leg it, boy, right away. I'll be in the cafe. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way through life. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way through life. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. So it's been a few hours and I haven't sold enough for my bus fare home. Street selling's pretty tough, so I turn on the charm for the lunchtime rush with a smile and a wiggle on my schoolboy touch. So the charm is working in the underground. There's a crowd of men and women gather round, and the watches they are going, the money is a-flowing. Think I'll take a little extra, stick it in my pocket, spend you later. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way through life. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way
tonight.
I'm just a boy from
Just a boy from Sheffield, making his way.
I haven't sold a watch for an hour and I'm dying for a slash. I've had enough of this, so I'm off for a piss. Then a quick walk back round to the cafe. Sitting at his table drinking tea, looks at me suspiciously. Then with a glance at the watch he says, how did you do? He paid me a couple of quid, then he said, would you like to come and work another day? I said I'd come back down on Friday, and to that he said okay. So with £2 in my pocket and another 5 in my shoe, I nipped down to Castle Market where a man who looks like Leo Sayer is selling pots with cockles and prawns. Just make me feel like dancing. Then off back to dinner on the Wiggies and then home. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from
Sheffield,
I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from
his way. His way, making his way, and we'll pause. Oh, I was very, very close. Very, very close. Nearly got it that time. Almost got it. But hello. How he's all doing? Good evening. Another fucking Saturday night. I'm not even 10 seconds in and I'm already cursing like a cunt. That's great. You know? After all, this is not a kiddie show. After all. Timothy, how are you doing, Timothy? Or AKA Uni. Cherry, how you doing? Cherry is on shock. Brilliant to hear that. Tommy on shock. Also, I'm well too come I. I'm well too come I, Cherry. Mascara, how you doing, bro? How you doing, mate? Chris, hey Chris. Rich T, good evening. And that's it. Chris is the moderator, indeed. I don't even know how many moderators there are here. Like, you know, I know some channels seem to have more moderators than just ordinary listeners, which sometimes is a bit weird. But anyway, that's okay. It's all good, man. It's all good. So, so I hope you've been having a good week, or had a good week, so to say. 'Cause after all, this is the end of it. Like this is today is just the day of the Sabbath. After all, Saturday was the Sabbath day, not Sunday. So uh, this would be technically speaking day 7 of the old calendar, I suppose. Usually the chat is only moderators. Um, well, yeah. Look, it doesn't matter. Like, you know, a spanner is a spanner after all. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, I get it. Like, I get it. Like, people like to be nice to people and say, okay, like, and integrate them into their channels and stuff like that. So you know, I'm still waiting for the day that I end up on a channel where everybody's a bloody moderator. Right? That sounds like a nightmare, but you'd want to be working in a very, very trusted environment to have that sort of a situation develop. But it does say a lot. Like, obviously, like the channels that I am familiar with, like where there's more spanners than there's ordinary chatters. It's like there's obviously a certain element of trust that goes with that, like, so it does say a lot for the people involved, like, so, but it is strange. It is strange. So, what's on the agenda for tonight? Um, I'm not quite sure. I have a few stories to tell. I have a few bits and pieces going on. It still is Jimmy for the Jews and the Satanists. I'm not sure how to take that, John. But yeah. There's certainly been a lot of Satanist activity going around during the week, especially in relation to Ukraine. We'll probably cover a little bit about that in a little while. Not that I give a fuck, like, because do you know what? This is a strange planet that we live on, and it's not meant to be all peace and love and harmony, So, um, look, I take it for what it is, like, and in a shithole like planet Earth, like there's plenty of room for white witches, Satanists, and Christians alike. There's more than enough roles for everybody who cares to get involved on in all that type of insanity. So I try not to overthink it, like, so it's it's all good. It's all good in my fucking world. I don't give a fuck, right? I don't give a fuck whether people are Satanists. They can be anything they want. I was actually, I went to visit a friend of mine last last Saturday night. Hadn't seen her for fucking long time. She would have been, yes, Chris, Scientologists. It's all good, man. It's all fucking good, man. They're all a bunch of nutcases, man. In my world, they're all a bunch of nutcases. So it's okay. And planet Earth is a fucking nutty enough place as it is. So plenty of room for everybody. So I was down with my friend Jenny last Saturday night, and we drank loads of beer and smoked loads of blow and talked loads of shit. Like, I hadn't seen her for sure, it must have been a year since I seen the girl. So we just ended up having a bit of crack. The poor girl passed out once. She passed out. she went. She went. She decided she was going to go and run. And I don't know where she was running to, because she only got as far as the stairs, and next thing she was down on all fours. So I had to go and check on her to see if she was all right, and she was there hanging on all fours at the bottom of the stairs, and says, "Right, come on, Jenny, I'll help you up there." She said, "Okay, I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll put you in the front room there, and I'll put you into the recovery position. How was that like?" And that's what I done, like, so I put her in the recovery position in the sitting room. These fucking lightweights, man, they're all mad for a fucking party, but when it comes down to the fucking party, they just fucking can't hack it, like, I thought I was getting old, like, but there you go. 9 o'clock came and I had to go get more fucking beer. I just didn't get enough fucking beer. How you doing, Mick Ramo? It's like they don't make party animals like they used to, you know. Whitney, what's that? I don't know. I don't know what that's referencing at all. But my friend Jennifer, like, she's a good kid, like, she's a good kid, but I think she made some questionable decisions over the last year or two, just to keep her job, right? So we had a few interesting discussions about bits and pieces, like, so, but this has been the story of my week in a way, really. It's been the story of my week. And but before I get into the big major story that I had about people I met, like the local wildlife is what I call them, like, just normies, like, although normie wouldn't be a term now I'd associate with Jennifer at all. She's not exactly a normie. She's she's special, right? But she's a new ager. She's a new ager at the end of the day, right? And she's all into this kumbaya stuff and healing and all this stuff. She does the tarot and all this sort of stuff. Although she didn't take the tarot cards out now last weekend, thank fuck. Because I tell you what, I think I know what the future has for us, so I don't need the tarot cards to fucking tell me, like, But she's a new ager, and she was part of a whole crew of new agers, and yeah, uni. I'll look at I'll bring you in the second hour if that's all right, But just for now, I just want to rant for a little while, if you don't mind. If you don't mind, I just want to rant for a little while and talk about some of the shit that I've been encountering during the week, and we'll get you in. We'll have a good old chat about Hitler in about an hour or an hour and a quarter. Is that all right? Or maybe we can talk about Stalin. I don't know. We'll leave it up. We'll leave it open for discussion anyway. And so. But Jennifer. She's a new ager, along with a lot of other sort of like locals that I would sort of classify as friends here locally. Like, they come in all sort of forms. Like, there could be tarot readers, there could be Reiki masters, they could be white witches. I don't know any black witches, but then again, though, I was never able to tell the difference between black and white either, So, so I have this kind of umbrella term when it comes to witches, right? So, like, I have them all under the one umbrella because there doesn't seem to be much difference between them. But like, good people, but I do just it's like it'd be like me going to a church, man. When I go and I sit among when there's a whole group of my new age friends, right, and they're all there, they're talking about their healing powers and all this sort of stuff, and I just think, shit, man, did I take a wrong turn somewhere? I don't know. It's like it'd be like me being in church, I'd probably go on fire or something like that, if I was to enter into a church, like, it's like, so I just kind of feel a little bit out of place because I would never, I never got into that. Look, it's not that I never got into it. Like, I've done a lot of research into the New Age movement. I've done a lot of research into tarot healing, but that research sort of only brought me so far, like, and it took me a while just to figure out that there's something not right. I'll tell you what made me figure it out was that these people that I used to know, they were so nasty to each other, and they were so vile to each other, and yet they were sort of like talking about all this stuff of healing that they were doing, but they used to treat each other like dirt. And the things they'd say about it, the things they do to each other, the rumors and the gossip that be spreading about each other, like, and their unwillingness to help each other, like when they were in trouble. And I used to sit back and watch this stuff, and I was just thinking, like, nothing really remarkable about you people at all. Like, despite your rhetoric, like, so that's why I took a sharp right turn a good few years ago, and took a sharp right turn and just said, okay, it's not really for me. I'm not going to sit by in judgment, like, but at the same time, like, having seen firsthand how they were to each other, and I just thought, like, good God, if this is what it means to be sort of like an advanced sort of like individual entering into the age of Aquarius. This is, look, I'll tell you what, I'm going, I'm going to the pub, right? That's it. I'm out. Time out. Fuck off. Somebody else joined there just a second ago. Rich T, how you doing, Rich? Yeah, Rich, your friend is a witch as well. Yeah, yeah. I'm not saying that I had a lovely friend years ago. Mark was his name, and he was a witch, but he was class actually. He was nothing like the average person that goes around talking about their witchery connections here in Ireland, like in Longford, like, they maybe it's just Longford witches are a bit fucked up. I don't know. I have no idea. Like, but Mark, he was class. Like, where was he from? He was from North England, like somewhere. And I was trying to remember what area he was from the other day, and it just won't fucking come to me. It won't come to me. But it doesn't matter. He was class, like, he was special, like, and but I haven't met too many like him now. I haven't met too many like him. So, but I suppose it takes all sorts, like, and so, but this was my last weekend. So, and I met Tracy. I met Tracy as well too, and hadn't seen Tracy for about a year. She would have been involved with the whole crew as well too, and these girls that I'm talking about, they went out to England years ago. Was he, Chris? I didn't realize. I just thought he was a pedo. I just thought he was a sick fucking pervert. There you go. That tells you a lot, man. That tells you a lot. Fuck. But years and years ago, when I moved back to London, I lived out abroad for years and years and years, and I moved back home to Ireland. And during the course of my return to Ireland, I met up with this mad troop of girls who had just returned from England. Yeah, a very naughty boy indeed. I met up with this mad troop of girls who had just returned to England, like, and they were had the ball. They were really had the ball, and they had totally lost the plot, all of them. And it took me a good while to figure out what actually had happened to them over in England. Like, and this is actually very, very weird in itself. Like how this fucking happened, man. Because let's see, is there somewhere else I should start first? I'll just tell you what happened to the girls first, right? What happened was they got connected with a bunch of fucking dudes who were connected into the OTO, right? Ordo, Ordo Temporis Oriental or something like that. The Order of the Oriental Templars, the OTO anyway, like, and I don't know what happened to these fucking girls, right? They were, whatever happened to them over in England, they just came back with their heads fucking screwed on upside fucking down. They were off their rockers. They were clearly not on planet Earth anymore. Whatever it fucking happened to them, like, they were all having fucking psychotic events and shit going on with them, like, and it was clear to me, like, it was clear to me what I was looking at, like, we were looking at, like, clearly some psychological damage. Like, it was like it was unreal to actually watch this shit, man. And but it took a while just to figure this out. Now, what is very, very interesting about the lads that they met over in England, like these OTO guys, I'm not going to mention no names. It doesn't fucking matter who the fuck they are, like, But I was traveling with a lad from Europe, like, he was actually from England. Terry was his name. Now, me, Terry, my girlfriend, and a few other hardcore troopers. We had just gone on a mad tour of Europe. Like we were hitchhiking around Europe, and we ended up fucking all over the shop in Europe, like just hitchhiking around, jumping trains, and as you do when you're over in France and fucking Spain, places like that. Like so we got to see the whole fucking Europe. Like uh, a little bit like the hitchhikers, a little bit like the hitchhikers. So you stick out a thumb and a TGV with the door would magically open and you just jump on. And next thing you know, you're in the south of fucking France, sort of stuff. Like, but Terry was a preacher's son, right? Now Terry was a lovely lad. Like he was wild. He was very very wild. He was very very. How you doing, Robert? Terry was very very wild. And it turns out that while we were living out in a mad remote area of a place called Drumlish, right? And we bumped into these guys, right? And it turned out that these guys were the same guys who would fuck these girls' heads up over in fucking in the OTO guys. They turned out to be the OTO guys that fucked these. And Terry and them were good fucking friends, right? So here's me connected to Terry, who I only met in fucking. Where did I meet Terry? I think I met Terry in fucking Belgium, right? And then we went on a mad tear around fucking Europe. I had no idea that a couple of years later that we were going to bump into these guys who were connected into the girls who were fucked up in the head, and that they would turned out that they fucking knew each other fairly fucking well. Unfortunately, poor old Terry was fucking dragged out of a fucking house in a body bag. Not long after he left Ireland, like he was found dead in a toilet, like with a fucking needle in his arm. Not that long after he left fucking Ireland, man. Poor Gosling, like he was troubled, like he was a preacher's son, like so he was a little bit. He was a little bit like. I didn't realize it at the time that he was disturbed. I was young myself, so I didn't actually think about things that deeply. But obviously, like there was shit going on in his fucking life that that he was having trouble with, like because in the times that I knew him, I would never have him down as the sort that would want to die, and so I don't know what happened to poor old Terry in the end. Like he's buried anyway now. So, but it was just fascinating that like a lad that I met randomly over in fucking Europe and traveled around Europe with would turn out to be a friend of the lads that screwed up these girls in Longford, screwed up their fucking heads and sent them over the fucking edge. It's like what? How strange is fucking life? How strange is fucking life? so, but anyway, that was my last weekend. But I like I was saying, last weekend, not only did I meet Jennifer, I met Tracy after so long, and we were reminiscing about back then, and she still talks back about those days when she was over in England and got screwed up in the fucking head by these fucking OTO guys. And I mean, she's a good girl. She's a good girl. Like she has her problems, like and that's okay. It's like not going to talk about them here because look, this is a public place, like but at the same time, she always talks about those days when what happened to them over in England, and she knows, she still doesn't know to this day what the fuck happened. So I'm a believer in all this voodoo and stuff. I do. I actually do believe in all that shit, like because this universe is a lot stranger than we fucking believe. Like, and I do believe that like we have the mental ability to fucking. We have the ability to create shit mentally, like, and we have to be so fucking careful. And that's why I'm very wary about the new age stuff, because I've seen people go fucking nuts with it, like they do. I've seen them go nuts with it, like, and totally lose the plot, totally lose fucking all sense of goddamn reality, and just end up fucking babbling nutcases. So I'm always wary about all that stuff, tarot, um, Ouija board, anything like that. You have to be so fucking careful of it. Like, and I don't know if anybody else feels the same way about that. About that. That's true, Chris. Ireland is very, very fucking rural. What are the fucking odds? What are the odds? What are the fucking odds that you might meet somebody randomly out in fucking Europe? You come back to a very rural area in Ireland. The next thing you know, the guy you're traveling with, good friends with these guys who turn out to be fucking OTO cult members. What are the fucking odds, man? I mean, is that crazy or what? Is that crazy or what? It's like fucking nuts, man. Absolutely nuts. But anyway, yeah. So that was my last weekend. Anyway, kind of like the short form version of it, like, you know. But had a great time though. Had a great time. Got totally fucking hammered. Got totally hammered. Like, took me a few days to recover actually, and I don't know if I'll ever recover. Actually, I'm still trying though. You know, I need a few more of these, and you know, it might fucking work out for me in the long run. So that brings me on to another interesting occurrence during the week. And it only happened yesterday, right? It was only yesterday that this happened. I had 2 days this week where I went out. Yeah, Jerry, absolutely. There's a lot of dangers. There's a lot of dangers that go with that when you enter into that world. Like, you know, I don't think people take it seriously enough sometimes, you know. Some people are okay with it, like, and can take it on, like, but I'll tell you what, there's always the propensity for people going stark, raving mad, absolutely losing the plot, like, you know. So um, I tell you what, Ouija board taught me a lesson, 100%. And after my experience with the Ouija board, and I'm just thinking, okay, so right, this is not a joke. And that we'll just park that right there. We'll just leave it where it is, and let's not fucking mess with it. Like, I didn't give a fuck about it. I'm just saying from my personal, but just I'm going to park that right there. So okay, we've got to leave that there because that was just too fucking potent of an experience just to sort of like go deeper into, because I can imagine, like, I could imagine what could happen, like, you know. I actually am a true believer. I'm a true believer. But I'm quite wary. But anyway, but that aside, I was going to tell you the story about I met an old school friend yesterday. 2 days this week I went for, uh, which is very unusual for me, for fast food. I just got so bored. I don't want to cook. I couldn't be arsed. I'm just going to go and fucking go out, and I'm going to get something at the fast food joint, man. Eat it there, like, and just to take a break from all the fucking cooking shit. Sometimes I get so bored with cooking, and and I won't. There'll be days I won't fucking eat anything. I won't eat anything for days, and I hadn't eaten anything for days, right? But I was hungry, like, and I just wasn't in the mood for cooking. Nothing. So I made a decision. Right, I'm going to go get some fast food, but it's actually it's a good little fast food joint, man. They make, it's a little Italian place, so they make really nice food. There you go, you can eat out, man. It's not spectacular, like, not special, like, but just dirty and quick and easy, and you'll feel full after, that sort of way. And I've done it twice. I've done it twice. But yesterday I bumped into an old school friend, Declan, right? And me and Declan used to hang out years and years ago. I don't see him very often now anymore. He doesn't even live locally anymore. But myself and Declan would have hung around with another lad, Jimmy, and there was a couple of us. Like, we had everybody had their own little clan years ago, so we had our own clan, like, so, and it was small, tight clan, like, we always hung around together, and we always done our own fucking thing. And he came in, he grabbed a bit of food himself, like, sat down, we were chatting, like, and I don't know how did the conversation start. I'll tell you how the conversation started, and this is, it got started talking about. Yeah, I remember now. I remember we started talking about a young chap, another friend of ours from the same class in school, Frank. Lost his brother there a couple of weeks ago. The brother was really fit. He just a young man, about 55, 56. He probably would have been at peak fitness. Peak fitness. He was a young lad. Still, I call him a young lad, but be fair enough to say that he's still a young man, right? And I just call him a young lad. But anyway, that doesn't matter. 56, rapid onset cancer. It killed him in weeks, right? Absolutely killed him in weeks. Now, I heard different stories that did he have this or not? I heard that he didn't, but I don't know. I have no fucking proof. Nothing to fucking say the least, but rapid onset cancer. So myself and Declan started talking about it because, like, Declan brought up Francis and stuff like that. And okay, yeah, isn't it crazy, like, how his brother just went so quick, like, and then we were talking about another story, and he says, what was it I says to Declan? I says, Declan, there's an awful lot of that going on. I said, this is like getting so fucking commonplace. It's unbelievable. And I just came across a story there just the other day, right? And a little lassie in Sheffield. A little lassie in Sheffield. I thought I had let's see if I can find out. Doesn't matter. Anyway, GLP. Let's just jump over to the GLP article on it. I don't like just doing the GLP stuff, but look, might as well, because I do still visit GLP from time to time. And did I open it up here? What was the little girl? Maddie Cusack. thesun.co.uk. This little girl here, what was her? 27 years old. Club says Sheffield United devastated report the sad news of the passing of Maddie Cusack. Maddie, a women's team player since 2019 and marketing executive for the football club, passed away on Wednesday. Maddie had just entered her 6th season with the club after signing a new deal. And anyway, look, that's all whatever. Like, of course, you'll get the usual, try everybody chiming in and saying just what a wonderful girl she was and all this. But there's another video that I actually came across, which is on this thread here. And this is actually worth playing. Let me see. Just bear with me just a moment. I should actually just do a full screen share, to be honest. And just in case. And I nearly got my audio. I haven't even got my audio right set right either. So we go CD bin ls slash iud audio connect dash new connect jack audio speaker to pulse in. Right, we'll do that. Okay, we'll do that. Now you should be able to hear what I have to play here. Did you get that? Good girl. Good girl. you took one for the team. Fair play to you. But that's truly like poor girl, man. It's like, and I don't want to be coming on here just saying that like it was anything got to do with a treatment or something like that. Like, but we've seen a lot of this, right? But me and Declan ended up chatting about this little girl. He says, I was telling him the story about Maddie Cusack. And he says, oh yeah, I remember hearing about her and stuff like that. I remember hearing that story. And he was reading about it and stuff like that. And so eventually we ended up, after me saying to him, like, we're getting an awful lot of that. Like, I was telling him about the excess death numbers, right? Telling him about the excess death numbers and how through the roof they were, right? Good man, Chris. You've seen the subs. John is saying all tarot is based on the Kabbalah, and so is the star on the Israeli flag, as above, so below. Indeed, John. How you doing, Spanish? How you doing? Are you well, mate? So, back to the Declan story I'm talking about. Now, this young lad, right? Well, young lad, he's my age, right? 52. Or maybe, yeah, 52. I'd say he's about the very same age as me. Anyway, he turned around to me and he said, there's a lot of people that I know are blaming this on a certain treatment, right? I'll say no more. You know what I'm talking about, right? And I don't talk about this with people anymore, just because you don't know who you're talking to, right? I don't mind talking about it with everybody here, but when it comes to talking about people out there in the wild, I don't know who I'm talking to, so I tend to keep my fucking mouth zipped, right? But because he brought it up, he told me there's a lot of people saying that they're blaming this on the 100% safe and effective, you know what? I was there and I was looking at him and I says, really? Are you serious? Let it just stew for a minute. And then he says, well, interestingly enough, right, I've had a good few people say that to me as well, too, I said back to him, you know. And I was telling him about my encounter last weekend because when I was down partying with Jenny, before she got too fucked out of her brains, she was talking about a load of people. We were driving down the town, right? And she was, oh, she's just had a stroke and such has had this. And oh, one of Tracy's daughters lost a really close friend, 20 years old. Suddenly, unexpectedly. Now, Declan, he's a normie, right? Big time normie, just ordinary lad, just nothing wrong with him. He's a good lad. You could have a good chat with him. You'd have a pint with him and you'd have a great time with him. But he's still a normie, right? But I'm getting so much of this lately. This is starting to come into the awareness of people now that, like, holy shit, man. I'm kind of feeling sorry for them in a way because they're starting to realize that, like, and I don't know what to fucking make of it. I just feel so bad for them. That's why I don't like talking about it. I said it up to him straight. He says, Declan, I don't like to talk about this. And he asked me, he says, he asked me, like, did you have it? And I says to him, says, no, but he sort of misunderstood me at first. He says, oh, you didn't. He says, oh, no, he said, oh, you did you? No, I said, no, I didn't. Right? I says, no, I didn't. I said, Declan, I actually done a lot of reading on it. And I says, there's no way I'm putting that shit into my fucking body. And I asked him, did you take it? He says, yeah, you did. These people are fucking petrified. I'm not getting that because I don't see people every fucking day of the week, right? Because I don't interact with people that fucking much. I don't have my finger on the pulse of what's going on in Normie land. I really don't, you know. But there's loads of times when I am actually in the position where I actually do end up chatting with them. Like I'm finding more and more that the conversation is coming around more and more on this topic. Like I think these poor people's minds must be fucking blown now, and I feel so bad for them, man. I'm at the stage, and I don't like talking about it anymore. I really don't, because you know, what's the point? What is the fucking point, man? And I don't know what's going to be the outcome. Like I'm not going to sit here and fucking say this is all going to be fucking bad and we're all going to fucking die and all that sort of shit. No, I'm not. Like, but it's very, very worrying, right? It's very, very worrying, and for these people who are coming to the realization that there's something just not right with this whole fucking shit, like, it must be an awful position to be in, you know. There was a time about a year ago, and I would have been harsh with them and just saying, fucking cunts, man, serves them right. Like, but I actually do feel bad for them, man, I really do. So they're having to deal with this, like, and maybe nothing will happen to them, right? Maybe nothing will happen to them, but yet they're stressed out at the same time. I could tell, like from the way Declan was talking, that like stressed out, man, stressed out, because when he's probably at home alone and thinking on his own, like he's got this shit hanging over him in the background. It's just because he's hearing all these stories from other normies out there in the zoo, uh, about what may or may not be fucking causing all these fucking excess debt, right? And they're starting to put it together. Imagine what it must be fucking like, man. I just, um, but I couldn't avoid the topic. I couldn't avoid the topic yesterday because that's the way it went. And he was open to have the conversation, and I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear where he was on his journey. Um, so sometimes you do have to have the conversation, even though I don't want to talk about it. Like, but every now and again, you do find people where you can actually sort of like approach the subject gently, like, in such a way that you don't have to come over like a fucking cunt, like, and just, hi, you took the bloody bullshit, you're fucked. I'm not going to be like that. I don't get, ain't going to be like that. Yeah, Rob, the excess debt is just, yeah, it's getting to the stage now where it just can't be hidden, man. Can't be hidden anymore. Too many people are starting to realize. I don't know who designed the Israeli flag, John. Maybe you know. If you know, share it with us. Like, I have no clue. It's rather excess that's still in the right, Jim. And I'm seeing people who took the thing, getting sick yet again. Yeah, yeah. It's worrying times. It's worrying times, and Spanish. If I was buying a second-hand car, I would research about it. New injection. Yeah. I know Spanish. That's okay. That's just us. That's just us talking here, and we can get away with this here. Like, but I don't think I could be that heartless, like out in public. Like, I don't think I could. Like, uh, okay, mascara. So you may test a positive. Are they still doing that? They're still doing testing. I didn't think that was a thing anymore. But then again, Jill Biden tested positive like 2 weeks ago, didn't she? I didn't think they were still testing. Yeah, that's for sure, Spanish. We are thick feckers. Absolutely. Absolutely. And, and poor old Rob. I don't think poor old Rob will be doing a show next Tuesday either. We'll have to organize something for that next Tuesday, Rob. So, you know, that, like, even though you won't be on YouTube, you could probably stream live to the Rumble channel, and you could stream live to the Raconteurs News website. So just keep that as an option, right? Even though you're not able to go into the YouTube channel, like at the moment, Rumble and raconteursnews.com or .co.uk is available for you. So I'm looking forward to get an update on what the questionnaire, because we all know how Rob loves to do quizzes and stuff like that. YouTube made up a quiz for poor Robert the other day. Kind of funny in a way, really. I can't wait to find out. Hopefully, you took note of all the questions that they were asking you, Rob, because I want to hear what they were asking. Like, I could just imagine. I can only imagine what the questions might have been. Like, like question number one will probably go like this: you find yourself in Nazi Germany during World War II, 1942, at a Nazi convention. Do you A, salute, or B, give them the bird? Rob would be there thinking about, okay, is it A? You're off the internet for 2 more weeks. But it's no laughing matter, like, you know. But you can see the digital gulag creeping in. This is the situation Rob was in, right? To be able he had to accept the strike, and to accept the strike, he was forced to take part in not a questionnaire. It almost sounds like a re-education thing. It almost sounds like a re-education thing. So I can't wait to get an update from you, Rob, about what they were asking, the types of questions. I hope you took note of all this stuff, because it's this will give everybody a clear idea of what we're going to be facing, like in the new digital gulag, which has been sort of like set up for us, right? And if we think that we're going to be able to escape to Rumble and that we'll be safe there, no, this is going to be all over the internet at 100%. This is what the internet of the future is going to be like. Say one thing wrong and you'll have to go and do a questionnaire. And like Jordan Peterson, you know, back to the re-education camp for you, my boy. Just a warning, was it? Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad, but they still made you do the questionnaire though, Rob, you know. So are you back next Tuesday, Rob? Are you back next Tuesday? That's what I was thinking about during the week, Jerry. I was just thinking YouTube's first question would be, right, Rob, write out 100 times. I will not be a racist, or I will not spread medical and misinformation. I will not talk about insurance payouts and stuff like that. You know, also, you know, it's like, it's just gone crazy, man. It's like they don't want to talk about. They definitely don't want people talking about that. You know, they definitely don't want people talking about like possible insurance problems. Like, seems to be a big deal, even though like some countries are sort of like already recognizing the fact that there's going to have to be changes made, and so many people heard that they're going to have to do something, man. Got a lot of people in trouble out there, so you know, it's going to be a slow cook. This, you know, it's going to be a slow cook. And Rob is saying medical misinformation, which they don't tell you exactly what you did, and you can write your defense. Yes, back next Tuesday with terrible jokes as well. And another dodgy quiz that I won't know the answers to any of them. I know, because I never know I'm useless at quizzes. Useless. Okay, Rob, yeah. But anyway, you might be able to just fill in the blanks as best you remember. Maybe you can fill in the blanks as best you remember. I can't wait to get an update on that, like, you know. But sorry you had to go through that, like, for covering a story which was in the public. It's, I mean, it's in the fucking public, right? What's the big fucking deal? I could get a strike now for covering that fucking little girl from Sheffield. Who knows? I don't know. And if we do get a strike, I won't be able to do the quiz. Fuck. We're bollocksed. We're bollocksed. Oh, man. Fool injected is the correct term, bro. Oh, man. Now, we might have uni calling into in a little while, but I did want to actually talk about one or two more little things before we get uni in. And I think the big story of the last few fucking days, man, is happening in Ukraine now, just at the moment, right? I don't know if you are aware of what happened yesterday in Sevastopol, which is in Crimea, right? The Ukrainians took out the headquarters of the Black Sea Fleet, right? They took out the headquarters with UK and French-made Storm Shadow missiles. Now, it's hard to get any information about it, right? Very, very hard to get information. But there is limited information around it. Like, this is fucking massive, right? Because, like, if you've been following what's been going on, I don't follow it like as closely as I used to, like, but maybe I should be following it a bit more closely, like. But the fact now that they have the ability to hit Sevastopol with impunity. I mean, it's only a week ago, right? Only a week ago, they sent a barrage of these Storm Shadow missiles in. They took out a ship. Well, I don't know don't know how badly they damaged the ship, but they done severe damage to the Pride and Joy submersible vehicle of the Russian Navy, one of the fucking flagships of the undersea world of the Russian. I'll tell you what they done. I've seen pictures of it during the week. They done serious fucking damage to this boat. It's not going to be going underwater anytime fucking soon, right? Yeah, there was people in there, Spanish man. They took out, as far as I can gather, they took out the admiral. As far as I know, from what I've gathered, is that they had enough information to know that there was a big meeting going on, right? And they took out the admiral of the fleet, along with several others now. So we have to assume that if they were able to take out the admiral, they probably took out a number of other high profile. I'm hearing up on 12 souls lost in that particular bombing raid. And if they took out the admiral, it might be a safe assumption that they took out a good few more of the hierarchy, the high command. No, I'm not going to call it Kiev. Look, I'm not over-invested in I'm not over-invested. All I know is that, like, the war is not what it seems. So I'm only on our side. I'm only on our side. I don't give a fuck after that, right? Because I have reasons. I have reasons for thinking that way, Spanish, and I know you won't agree with me, but that's okay. But yeah, they took out the admiral of the fucking fleet. From what we get, Russia haven't confirmed this yet, but I think it'd be a safe bet to say that they took him out. Obviously, they're working with intelligence. Like there was a big hacking operation that went on as well too. So I imagine through the hacking operation that they got the information that they needed to know that the meeting was going on in the first place. So That's a big blow. This is a big blow. If Russia can't protect Sevastopol, holy shit, man. This is one of their main ports. This is their Black Sea port. This is their main artery in the Black Sea. Like, if they can't hold that, like, holy shit, man. What does that fucking say? And on top of that, apparently what I'm hearing also is that, like, the Ukrainian army they've breached into the Ukrainian defenses somewhere down in the south, in the Kherson direction. Now, I'll work out the details of it during the week. I didn't go into too heavy detail because, like, it's just hard to tell at the moment what exactly is going on. But apparently, they have sort of like made grounds into the Kherson direction, have broken through some of the main line. Sevastopol, say it. Sevastopol, That's what I said. Oh, you're saying Sevastopol. Sevastopol. Is that not the Ukrainian pronunciation? Why are you using Ukrainian language here? This is a pro-Ukrainian channel. What the fuck you want about Spanish? Sevastopol. Actually, I seen a video of the actual bombing rate that was going on in Sevastopol, right? Sevastopol, right, Jimmy? I've been corrected by our resident Russian. It's like, okay, I stand corrected. But I was watching Stephen Ben-Nun from Israeli News Live the other day. On that's because I didn't hear about the raid until he showed it on his channel, and he had a video, and there was an English-speaking lad in Sevastopol, right? English lad, and I was watching the video, and here he was with his pristine English accent, like, and reporting from the harbour in Sevastopol, and the bombs were flying in. You could hear the bombs flying in and connecting and shit blowing up all around him, like. And I was just thinking, what the fuck are you doing behind enemy lines? Is this right? I didn't think Sevastopol was open to foreigners. Maybe I'm wrong. But I just thought it was very, very strange to see an English-speaking man like in Sevastopol. Just in this particular, like, if it was any other time, if it weren't at war, like, I would have thought, like, okay, like, you know, but then again, you've got that lad, Earl Grey. He's up in St. Petersburg as well too, like, you know, so he hates England. He fucking hates England with a passion. The way he laughs at England, I don't watch him. Like, because it sickens me, like, watching an Englishman running his own people down, right? And I get it. Like, you're in fucking Russia, so you have to make it look good for Central Intelligence Agency. Make it look like you're on it because you're in their country after all. Like, I get that. Like, you know, but you know, you're putting down your own fucking people. It's just, I hope it's going to be worth it in the long run. You know, so I don't listen to Earl Grey that fucking much. I still follow him on Telegram a little bit just because he does get like, but he's too Russia oriented. I prefer my sources to be reporting from both sides. You know, that's what I like. Spanish don't think the war is real. That's interesting. You like Earl Grey. I think yeah, so Rob likes Earl Grey. I just I know what Rob is saying. He likes Earl Grey. He likes tea. I Earl Grey tea. I get it. I get it. I had to think about that just for a moment. He says, "Holy shit!" He says, "I was surprised. I'd be surprised if Rob would have known I Earl Grey." It was like, "What? You follow that shit? Like you follow him?" You at work, Chris? Are you? Holy cow, man! You are a hard goer, man. So whereas Spanish doesn't believe the war is going on, well, I'm telling you one thing: it's very, very real, very real, very real. It could get a whole lot worse before it gets better. Like this could get a whole lot worse. Like we've seen it like flare up in Armenia and Azerbaijan now this week, which is another. I think Russia are losing it. I think Russia are losing it completely. Like, what's interesting about the Azerbaijani and the Armenian situation? Not the war you think. I don't know. I don't know where Spanish is coming from now. At the moment, we'll have to we'll have to get him into the after chat and see what the fuck he's on about now. I don't know. I don't know. But the Azerbaijan. Oh God, no, James, no. We don't want an all-out war. We don't want an all-out war live on air. Like, holy shit! The last thing we want is an all-out war with me in Spanish live on air. We'll have to go fisticuffs in between beers. me and me and Spanish slugging it out. Like this is. I hope you went and researched a few of those sources that I gave you. Spanish, couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. Like the little bastard, right? Last weekend, he hounded me. He says, "Where's your sources, Jimmy? Where's your sources?" And I gave him a source. He said, well, "Go check it out." And then I had to go in and help Rob then on Tuesday night, just for a few minutes. And he ended up chatting with Spanish. And did you check out those sources again? Uh, I was too drunk. I forgot to write it down. He says, "You little bastard, you after hounding me for half an hour for fucking sources, right?" And he didn't even go check them out. He says, "Right, that'll be the last time I'll try to give you a source, man." But then again, no, he wouldn't like it. He wouldn't like my sources, man. You wouldn't like my because they just don't suit the narrative. Like, so you wouldn't like my sources. So it's probably best you don't go listen to any of them at all because it's just. But I get it. I get it. I get it. Like, I do get it. I was like that too. It's not nice hearing what you don't want to hear. Jimmy, don't make me get on a guest who is an expert on Ukraine and Russia and Eurasia, lol. Uni? I don't know. I don't know where you get this idea that I want to have fucking guests on here. I'm sick of fucking people I'm sick of experts, right? Sick of fucking experts, right? That's why I come and talk to fucking people here in the chat, like, because I don't want to hear from experts because they're all a fucking bunch of bullshit artists, right? Come on fucking air and make themselves sound all fucking knowledgeable and everything. And really, at the end of the fucking day, they're just biased arseholes. That's why I don't listen to alt media or nothing like that anymore because I'll tell you what, they're all a bunch of fucking biased fucking cunts who just spread misinformation, right? And you got new laws coming in there now in the UK, I believe. You had that. You had the. All right, Rob. Expert on bad jokes. But you had that. You had the. You have that thing going through the UK Parliament now, just at the moment, don't you? Like the new bill. Yeah, Chris. Chris, yeah, I absolutely know where you're coming from, mate. I really do. I know where you're coming from. You were talking about that. Yeah, we've spoken about this before, and the interesting thing is that I always thought the Nazis were actually funded and started by Washington D.C. I always believed that. I just was working under that assumption until until the until Prigozhin's plane was taken down. Right? Do you remember when Prigozhin's plane was taken down? And and there was a chap that was taken down with Prigozhin on that plane. Like the whole Wagner chief of staff was taken out in that whatever happened on that plane. I don't know whether it was a missile strike. Nobody fucking knows whether the bomb was internal on the plane. But when Prigozhin was taken down, there was a chap called Dmitry Utkin. Now, he was a Ukrainian, right? Now, Dmitry Utkin was the lad that actually formed Wagner, okay? So he actually formed Wagner. Now, it turns out that Dmitry Utkin was also the key person involved in the Nazi movement in Ukraine. He was the granddaddy of the Nazis in Ukraine. And this is only coming to light now. This is only just coming to light on my radar now. I always assumed that DC was responsible for the fucking Nazis, right? And you can imagine my surprise when I started learning all this shit about Dmitry Utkin and who founded the Wagner and was actually fighting on the Wagner side, was taken down on the plane with Prigozhin. So please, if you can explain that to me, like, who are the fucking Nazis? God damn it, like, who are the goddamn Nazis? I think Cookie's right. I think you got Nazis on both sides. It's like, so that's why I don't believe Putin anymore, right? That's why I don't believe him anymore, right? Putin always had this fucking thing, right? We're fighting the Nazis in Ukraine. That's it. We're going to take the fucking Nazis out. You can imagine my surprise when I find out that Dmitry Utkin, the goddamn fucking Nazi, he's fighting with Wagner in Donbass. It's like, in Bakhmut. Holy shit, man. It says, who are the fucking Nazis, right? So that opens a whole fucking cesspit of fucking questions. It's just like, you know, that's why I've decided to become a little bit pragmatic in latter life over all this shit, man. Yeah, Spanish. Yeah, no, that's okay. You watched a few of them anyway. No, I'm not convinced either about everything, but he's got some interesting stuff. I'm not saying trust him completely, but you kind of have an idea where I might be coming from, especially when it comes to demographics and stuff like that. Don't believe everything he fucking says because there's enough information out there, enough people eloquent enough to fucking even counter his arguments. And Precaution is still alive. Are you sure he's not in Germany, Chris? He could be hiding out in fucking Denny's bunker. You don't think China's dead either, Spanish? No. Okay. Yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay. It's just certainly one to watch. It's just important to just keep that in mind that like not everything is as it seems. I do follow a lot of China commentators, and things are not as rosy in China as we are led to believe. So keep an open mind about everybody, and it's always best not to believe just one person, but you kind of like have to take it. You have to take it all in. You've got to take it all into consideration. So That's how I've gone, like, so I've gone from just listening sort of to alt media myself, basically, and just trying to get as many different voices as possible and try to draw a line between where everybody is on the fucking topic. That's where I am, basically, and I don't believe anyone anymore about fucking anything, And in the current climate, it's probably a good idea not to believe anything or anyone totally. And there will be truth, but I'll tell you one thing though about Zihan and his work on demographics is very, very compelling, extremely compelling, and having looked at all the data and stuff like that, and gone and checked it myself, and if it's true what he's saying, he's dead right. He's dead right. We're looking at a complete change in the total financial structure of the world because we're losing the consumer base, and our current model won't work anymore after about another 10 years or so. And I think he's probably right about that, but then again, though, trying to keep an open mind, not saying it can't be fixed. It probably could be fixed, but it's going to take something special to get everybody back to having children. Because I mean, like, if what he's suggesting is that, like, the reason the demographic is changing so sharply is because of the industrialization of the Western world, which is probably very, very true. People did stop having children, right? They started having fewer and fewer children, and I think that's 100% correct, because they just became impossible to afford, like, in the modern system, like. And it's even getting more expensive, like, especially if you take into consideration the cost of living, the price of a home, the cost it takes to keep a car running, like the requirement to have two family leaders, like the woman and the man, both working just to keep the fucking show running. They don't have as many children anymore. And as well as that, there's like fertility. There's a huge fertility issue, which I'm just looking into at the moment as well too, which seems to be escalating as well too, which is compounding the problem. So I do think Zihan has some interesting ideas to share on the topic, and I think they're relevant, and that would explain a lot. I think it would explain an awful lot about why we may end up, like, why there's going to be a great reset, why there's going to be a new financial system. And that I'm still open to the idea that they don't even know what the new financial system will look like if this demographic collapse continues. So, look, but like you said, you're dead right, Spanish, not to believe everything he fucking says. Take it on board and look for counter arguments. That's what I do. That's what I fucking do. Best not to believe anybody. Girl with open legs. Oh, this conversation is going downhill here in the chat. That's for sure. You reckon, John, only the dumb ones have children? I didn't see that film, Idiocracy. Don't know much about that. What is that? Idiocracy. Let me have a quick look. American science fiction film. American science fiction film directed by Mike Judge and co-written by Judge. The concept dates back to the concept Judge visited in 1996. Judge finished the plot. Let me get to the fucking plot. 2000, the army librarian selected for a government hibernation experiment as the most average individual in the entire military, lacking a suitable female candidate. The military hires prostitute Rita by paying off her pimp. When the officer is in charge is arrested for running his own prostitution ring. The experiment is hushed up and right, okay, I think I'm getting the general idea. So Bar and Rita have already been frozen. Over the next several hundred years, societal expectations and technological advances lead to the most intelligent humans to go childless, while the least intelligent reproduce indiscriminately and create increasingly more stupid generations. Okay, right. That's interesting. That's interesting. I'd like to know how that works, though. Like, if they go childless, who's going to follow on from them? But anyway, I haven't heard of that film, never seen it. So, how you doing, James? Really, I must watch, James. Interesting. I'm gonna see if I can track that down. I'll take your word for that. But one thing's for sure, there may well be a certain amount of truth to that, like, because when you think about what's been if you just look around at some of the people that are sort of like running around the zoo at the moment, like there's an awful lot of them. They're just not well in the head, like, not well, self-included, like, It's like, I'm nothing to write home about either, like, I'm as stark raving mad as the fucking next person. Thanks, John. I could do with a funny film, actually. Something that might be a little bit lighthearted would be good. Live your life and enjoy. Affect the kids. Yeah, look. Kids have become a burden. Kids have become a burden in this modern, and I suppose, in a sense, it's not enough just to blame the kids. It's not enough to blame the kids. Society has forced people into this situation, like, where it's not. It doesn't actually pay to have children, and things have gone so bad. Like, if you were to look at the places like Japan and China. China are having huge problems. Like, at the moment, they're trying to run campaigns to encourage parents to have children, but I've read a number of articles about it, like, and the sense I'm getting is that it's too expensive in China for people to have children, so they're refusing not to. Like, now, that doesn't explain Japan. Japan, I don't know. They're probably going through the same shit. They are probably one of the oldest generations in the world. But I was reading an interesting story about Japan there recently, like, where there's one town in Japan where they're actually having a boom at the moment with children, and there's families moving there. They have, for the first time in a very long time, got above the replacement age. So, like, the replacement numbers, like, in general, like, the replacement number is like, a woman would have 2.1 children. Now, Japan has terrible problems, but they've been working on this, I believe, since the 1990s. So they've been preparing for some time, but they're nowhere near. They're nowhere near solving the problem. And so anybody that poo-poos the demographic problem, all you got to do is just show them Japan. Japan is one of the most aging populations in the world, and they're having huge problems, absolutely massive, huge problems. It's gone so bad, men and women can't even get together. It's like they repulse each other, right? It's like men and women just do not want to get out, whatever is happening in Japan. And that's probably coming here as well too. Like, we're seeing all sorts of weird things going on, even in our own cultures. Like, if you to look at what's happening, like, with the children and the gender issues and this kind of dysphoria thing going on, like, and what is causing it? Like, is Alex Jones right that it's got to do with the pesticides? and stuff like that, turning frogs gay and stuff like that. I don't know. It's probably a combination of a lot of things, But Japan is probably sort of like one of the litmus tests that we can sort of like say for sure it's absolutely happening. Like I know we got graphs that show that like we got demographic issues in Europe. Like Italy is probably the worst in the whole of Europe. Like they have the most aged population with the fewest children. If you were to listen to Zihan, he says Italy's fucked. That's it. Italy is finished, like completely, like So I don't know what's going to happen in Italy, because when you do actually look at the demographic chart, it's atrocious. Like it actually is the worst in Europe. Germany not far behind and stuff like that. So are we looking at a total population collapse in Europe? Probably. More than likely, yeah. But I have a lot more research to do. I have a lot more people to listen to on the topic. So I'll sort of like reserve my overall opinion, because apparently this can be corrected. Like, but if we were to take the Japan saga like to its full course, they began trying to repair the problems in their demography back in the 1990s. They are nowhere close to even fixing it, like nowhere close yet. So they've been at this over 30 years. And so if we do end up at the stage where Japan is now here in Europe, like, it could take 40, 50 years to correct the demographic problem. So, and this ties into the finances, right? This ties into the economy. Like, we're all hearing all the fucking time about the collapse of the dollar, about what's going to fucking happen. The currencies are collapsed. No, they're not. It's demographics. The consumption base is dying out. We don't have the consumers anymore because there's not enough people of consuming age to be able to fill the gap. Like, right, we've got too many retiring people. This is the true cause of the financial issue, right? And you're talking. I've listened to so many fucking arseholes over the years talking about like what's going on with the financial system, and they all have their own fucking theories. The only thing that I've seen that makes any fucking sense at all is the demographics of the world is completely changing, and the key issue is the consumer base. There's not enough people below the age of 40 anymore, who between the ages of say 20 and 45, which would have been the traditional consumer base, the people that had the families, took out the loans to get the fucking mortgages, to buy the fucking nappies, all this sort of shit, man. The consumer base, right? There's not enough of them anymore. So that's why the financial system is going to be turned upside down. That this is the reality of the situation. And it's nothing got to do with fiat currency or anything like that. I don't believe that anymore. The demographics just explains it perfectly. So, but then again, I'm going to keep looking into it. Look, I'm not 100% convinced, but it's pretty damning evidence, But anyway, it's 23, 24, and I was going to get Union for a little while. I don't know if he's still around. Like, so I'm going to chuck a link in, and this is not just for Uni. Anybody else who wants to call in as well too, you're so welcome. Just beware when you come in and join. Just beware. It might take me a minute or two just to get my settings okay, because I need to get a new sound card. But I think I have it set okay. It shouldn't be too bad. No, it shouldn't be too bad. So there you go, Uni. You're welcome in. Like, we'll have a good old chat about our old buddy, like with the hi. But yeah, like this issue that's going on now at the moment, I see you have a no, Chris. They didn't go out. They didn't go out of. They didn't go out at all. Sound cards. The issue is that it's not the sound card. Everything's been integrated onto motherboards, right? It's like that's the way things have gone. Like you got graphics and sound. Everything's integrated onto motherboard. Things just got smaller. Doesn't mean they've gone away. Sound card is still there. Still a piece of tech. It's all in the the semiconductors and the chips. That's where we are these days. And good evening, Taylor. How are you, my friend?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right.
Hold on, I have to be careful now. I'm noticing a few little discrepancies, and I just have to make a few adjustments, so that you don't get an echo. Are you hearing an echo?
I don't hear an echo at the moment.
Okay, okay. Anybody hear an echo out there in the chat? Please let me know. John is saying the corporations are getting concerned about the population shrinkage. If you watch the shipping business, they have hundreds of ships laid up, costing $1 million a year, doing nothing in dock. That's the
Yeah,
conclusion I'm coming to as well, John. Yeah, sorry, Uni. Carry on.
I was just gonna say you're gonna have to give me a few minutes to do something. I was hoping it'd be done before this, but
I I hope it's nothing naughty.
no, 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 no. My mom's calling me for something.
All right, okay. You go take care of it, whatever it is you're doing.
Okay. All right. You just carry on.
You think he'd be ready, wouldn't you? You'd think he'd come in prepared, but no. He should have taken care of his mum an hour ago. And no, fucker. Anyway, correspondent. Yeah, well, this is our Washington correspondent. It is the way it is. Jerry said you must suffer in order to freely accept the new offer of help played out over the past couple of years. I wonder what that's in relation to. But let's talk about this. Let's talk about this new bill that's coming in over in England just at the moment, which is very, very interesting. Let's see. We'll do a screenshot because it's easier. Because I was looking at it and you know what? Some of it actually makes a lot of sense when you actually read into it. I know there's a lot of people just there's a lot of worry about this new online safety bill. Let me see. I had a few little bits of it highlighted. So basically, the online safety bill has taken years to agree and will force firms to remove illegal content and protect children from some legal but harmful material. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. Children's Charity, the SPCC, said the law would mean a safer online world, but critics argue it would allow a regulator and tech firms to dictate what may or may not be said online. So it's a 300-page bill, and will introduce new rules such as requiring pornography sites to stop children viewing content by checking the ages of users. I'd love to know how they plan on doing that. How are you going to check the ages of users? So are we going to be moving towards a system like where you will need some sort of ID to get online? This is where I think it's going, right? This is where I think the internet is going to be going. So while the Act is often spoken about as a tool for reining in big tech, government figures have suggested more than 20,000 small businesses will also have to comply. Platforms will also need to show they are committed to removing illegal content such as child sexual abuse. Well, you think they'd be doing that already. The tools should be there already to do that. Controlling or coercive behavior. Just makes a lot of sense. You don't want sort of like scammers and stuff like that going around coercing people into making sort of like bad decisions. Extreme sexual violence, totally agree. Illegal immigration and people smuggling. Although like extreme. How are you going to control extreme sexual violence? Like, you might be able to knock it off the internet, right? But you're not going to be able to stop them sharing it on thumb drives. And look, the sex industry always finds a goddamn way to get around this shit. Like, but in principle, I agree. Right? There shouldn't be any of that shit online. Illegal immigration and people smuggling, I sort of get that. Like, you don't want like people sort of like basically organizing sort of like people smuggling on social media platforms or messaging. You don't want that. Like, also promoting or facilitating suicide. Well, now hold on now a second. Now, what do they mean now? Would this include Canada, right? We're talking about promoting or facilitating suicide. Especially with the way the laws have been going over the last couple of years, like where they're bringing in euthanasia laws. Could that be classified as facilitating or promoting suicide, right? We've had stuff like this going on in Belgium recently. In Belgium, that case in Belgium was really, really shocking. There was a failed euthanasia program done on a person, and the poor person didn't die and woke up in a panic, and they ended up smothering the poor person with a bloody pillow. That was in Belgium, only in the last couple of weeks, for fuck's sake. Like, so, all this is really good in fucking theory, like, but like, what if it's sort of like the government promoting and facilitating? Are they going to be subject to the same laws and regulations? I can't wait to find out. Promoting self-harm. Very, very interesting. I totally agree. Like, but what about companies that are sort of going around sort of encouraging children to chop their dicks and pussies off and their tits, right? Self-harm. Is that going to include that shit? We will have to wait and see, I think, this will probably hopefully play out in the court system. I don't know. Animal cruelty, selling illegal drugs or weapons, doesn't matter. Like, the internet doesn't look. People always find a way to sell illicit drugs or weapons. It doesn't all happen on the fucking internet. And terrorism. Well, terrorism is a pretty broad fucking term. So the new offences have also been included in the bill, including cyber flashing. What is cyber flashing? Anybody know what cyber flashing is? Spanish says, smash the likes at the 77th Brigade, make it real. Good man, Spanish, fair play to you. So, the bill includes measures to make it easier for bereaved parents to obtain information about their children from tech firms. Why only bereaved, right? Why only fucking bereaved, right? Do you mean something has to happen to a child before parents should have access to their and look, parents need to be more tuned in any fucking way. I don't give a fuck. And there's no excuse for anybody who was a young child in this day and age. There's no excuse for them. They should be well tuned in and know how the internet fucking works. There's anybody who's 10 years younger than me has a child now. They're probably better versed in the goddamn internet than I am. Although I doubt that. Like, but I'm just saying, like, there's no excuse for parents. You should not have their children on fucking social media platforms exposed to fucking people who you don't know who the fuck they are. The way these social platforms work, and they've got fucking children mixing with adults. And it's just, look, that has to stop. Adults don't want to be hanging around with fucking children. It's fucking goddamn awful. Like, we try to get away from the cunts as best we can, as often as we fucking can. So the Technology Secretary Michelle Donnellan told BBC the bill was extremely comprehensive. Asked when there would be evidence of tech firms changing their behaviour, she said we already started to see that change. As soon as the bill gains royal assent, right? Okay, so King Charlie will have to put his stamp of approval on it. Maybe Prince Andrew might sort of like second that. Maybe. I wonder. The regulator will be working even more hand in hand with those social media platforms, and you'll see them changing the way that they're operating. She added, right? But the complexity of the act does cause concerns that big tech companies will challenge parts of it in court. So I think maybe the complexity leads itself to that sort of challenge, and that could delay the full coming into force of the race. So they're not totally certain they're going to be able to get all the way there anyway. Driving the bill has been the stories of those who have suffered losses and harm. Yeah, it goes into a few people here who have been caused harm. They lost children and stuff like that. I feel bad for them, I do. And what more can you say? So they blame it on social media, like, but when I look at children who have been suffered harm on social media, maybe doing self-harm, committing suicide, I get the sense that these children are troubled anyway. They have been troubled anyway, and that like they just found an expression for that trouble. So I throw it back at the parents. I throw all of this back at the fucking parents, like, for for whatever reason, because there's no smoke without fire. This thing just doesn't happen just because of social media. There's obviously underlying fucking things going on, and I do think it's unfair just to put the whole thing on social media, because that's just where it comes out. That's just an expression of it, So we had a lawyer here, Graham Smith, author of the book on internet law, said the bill had well-meaning aims, but in the end, it contained much that was problematic. He's quoted here as saying, "If the road to hell is paved with good intentions, this is a motorway," he told the BBC. He said it was a deeply misconceived piece of legislation, and the threat it poses to legitimate speech was likely to be exposed in the courts. Now, there's no doubt about this, because we're seeing this happening here in Ireland at the moment. Like while Jason was alive, we had Garrett coming on. I was covering a story from Garrett, over here in Ireland, who was being dragged through the courts over these hate speech laws, which is all tied into the hate speech laws and stuff like that. So we can see how it possibly could be used by nefarious sort of like state actors. So yeah, there's obviously going to be two sides to this legislation. There's got the front side, which is going to be looking like quite legitimate, like, oh, we're just going to be protecting the children, keeping them from harm. What I say is, get the cunts of brats off the fucking internet. Get them out of my fucking zone, right? Don't want kids going around on the internet. They're a pain in the fucking arse, right? So anyway, look, I just thought I'd cover a little bit of that story, and it sounds like we've got Uni back. So I don't want to bring Uni in and not hear what he has to say. So how you doing, bro? Welcome back. Did you sort your mother out? What were you doing? Did you give her a slap or two?
That's some kinky shit you just said right there.
Oh, fuck. You like that, do you?
No, I know you like it. That's why you brought it up.
James Jones saying upskirt pics, cyber flash. Yeah, all right. That's what the cyber flashing is, upskirts and stuff like that. Okay, because they also mentioned another one, like fake porn. There was another one I didn't cover. It must be fake porn, where people sort of like do photoshops of porno images of people where they just stick celebrities' heads on naked fucking whores off the internet, and put them out there as real. So that would probably come into that would probably come under that category as well too, would it, James? Probably, more than likely.
Oh man, I'm just reading the chat and stuff. But yeah, so how's it? So how's everything been going for you, Jimmy?
Well, I'm good. I'm good. All good. But what's on your mind?
Nothing much. Just getting by. Got bored. Did a little 9/11 looking just for the hell of it. Nothing. Nothing really big. But just getting by.
Did you find anything new on 9/11? Did you?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, for me, but not. Yeah. I mean, yeah. We'll just say yes. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So, did you solve the mystery?
Probably not.
Oh God! You got any good news?
I mean, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, I hardly do. I don't really even do much research anymore. I'm like, if you want me to be honest with what I've been doing, I've been playing Pokemon and shit like that. I've just been doing my I've just been doing like nerdy geeky things basically. And
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Are you for real, man?
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Yeah. Not the phone game, the actual game. Yeah.
What's the actual game? What
Oh
do you
shit.
do?
You don't know Pokemon.
I know they're all the characters. I think I remember one Pikachu or something like that, or Pikachu.
Yeah,
or
Pikachu.
I remember a couple of names, but I don't know anything about it. So come on, enlighten us, Pokemon. Tell me all about it. Like,
It's a video
is it a
game
conspiracy
series.
theory?
Yeah. It's a video game series started back in the 90s made by Nintendo. No, I'm not talking about the stupid Pokemon Go game. I'm not talking about that. Does anyone even still play that crap? Freaking Pokemon Go garbage. I didn't even know that was still a thing.
I'm still waiting for you to tell me about the fucking game. So just tell me about it, will you? Because I can't wait to find out. You know, maybe I've missed something. I'm probably missing. Would that solve part of my the missing piece of my brain? The Pokemon might fucking fill that in for me, would they?
Probably not, but it's like I said, it's a game series that started on the Game Boy back in the mid 90s by Nintendo. Came over to America. It was a really huge success. Fun fact, by the way, Pokemon's actually the most successful franchise. Has made the most money out of any entertainment franchise in the world. So it's made more than Superman. It's made more than Harry Potter's and Star Wars, etc., etc. But
Right.
yeah, it's a turn-based RPG kind of game where you and it's about catching the Pokemon. You know, like you throw the Pokeballs at them, you weaken them first.
Oh, you get to chase Pokemon around the place. You have to catch the bastards, yeah?
Yeah, that's the old slogan. Got to catch them all. I'm sure you've heard of that.
Right. It sounds a bit kinky, man. I don't know.
It's a kid's game. It's not kinky, okay?
Sounds a bit weird chasing little short people around the place, man, catching them. It's like, oh god, sounds a bit like. Are you sure Jimmy Savile wasn't involved making that game?
Oh god. Jimmy Savile. Oh god.
James is saying Pokemon is a psyop to video inside places Google can't go.
Yeah,
he thinks
I'm talking about the phone game. I told you I'm not talking about the phone. Why is that the thing that everyone knows that everyone here seems to know Pokemon as is the stupid phone game? When Pokemon existed for a few decades before before the phone app was even a thing. It's like, come on. Freaking it's just been around since the 90s.
So John's saying his nephew sold a Pokemon card for 20 grand. I assume that sold a Pokemon card for 20 grand. He got him mum to buy it when he was a kid for 200 about 30 years ago. So you're right. Is that right, John? So he sold it for 20 grand.
I can believe it. There are some Pokemon cards that do go for a lot of money. It's just now it's kind of cringe, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's the same thing for pretty much any card game. Freaking Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic the Gathering, etc., etc. They all have their really expensive shit. Some are more expensive than others.
So you got your fan mail coming in here. Spanish saying this was Jason's sidekick. Then he got Jimmy. Then Jimmy's got you, and we're fact here, he said. Love messages from Spanish.
Instead of being Spanish chicken, it should be French chicken or Japanese chicken. or English.
Well, I'll tell you what, Chris. If you're getting 20 grand a fucking card, I'm in the wrong goddamn fucking business, man. Shit. I should have started years ago. 30 years ago, that would have been in the 90s then. So,
yep,
200 quid. Like, you know, if your nephew's if your nephew's mom bought a card back in the 90s for 200 fucking quid, 200 quid would have been a fucking nice penny back in those days too. For fuck's sake, you know. Never mind the 20 grand. Like recently, fucking hell, man. You know, 200 quid back in the 90s would have been a good few weeks food and heating for a family, like, you know.
Oh, those were the days, and then the planes hit the towers and everything changed.
Well, you can't blame everything on the goddamn towers, man. Fucking hell,
I know. I'm just making a reference.
you know.
Who would have thought that small talk got smaller? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, you said you gave everyone last week homework to do. I wonder how that went down.
They didn't do it, man. They didn't do it, man. Fucking
Oh,
hell. I gave Spanish a pile of homework and he said, I was too drunk, Jimmy. I forgot to write it down. So... All right. I'm going to give him 100 lines this week. Do you think I'll have any fucking hope getting him to write 100 lines out for me? Not a hope.
Yeah, probably not. He was a spoiled brat. He's got two more worth the same. Yeah, there are a lot of spoiled. There's a lot of spoiled brats going on the internet these days, especially those YouTubers. Way too many kids on YouTube, man. Way too many of them that make videos and shit like that. I hate these motherfuckers who like they see like a movie franchise and they make a stupid YouTube channel based off of just talking about a said movie or whatever, and then we get a lot of views and money over it. It's very cringe and just disgusting in my opinion, especially when it's like grown adults doing it. I'm like, you guys have probably never worked a day in your fucking life. I'm just saying, and it's just kind of sad. The same thing I say to all these stupid gaming channels as well.
Well, I follow a good few chess channels. I actually do follow quite a number of grandmasters who play chess and stuff like that. That's where I draw the line, like, you know. But I like the chess content creators are really good. I know the type you're talking about that do the dissection of the movies, and I've seen it. There's a good few like that, like, you know, they're so-called in the truther fucking movement, right? And
I'm not talking about those.
And they go around and they tell you like they're trying to tell us in the movies, and then they bring up a movie and they break it all down about how it all connects back to the fucking Rothschilds and the fucking Club of Rome and all this. And I said, look, would you ever fuck off, man? Where's the unsubscribe button here? There it is, man. Fuck off. Piss off. I heard enough shite now this week without you bullshitting about fucking movies, man. But I like the chess content creators. I have a lot of respect for them because they're very, very good teachers, you know. But I have an interest in chess, you know. So, and I like to learn. So, but there's a lot to learn in chess. And I sometimes wish I started back when I was a child, you know. I didn't start early enough with chess, even though I've been playing for a very, very long time. I think years ago, if I had the inclination, if the internet was like as it is now, I probably would have been pretty good at chess, you know. So, but I'm starting way too late in life, but still, it's nice to learn now. Now I'm learning, so it's good. So when it comes to the gaming aspect of it, like that's the only gaming I actually follow on the internet now is chess. I'll go on chess sites and I actually follow chess content, and I prefer chess content to alt media. For example, can't listen to alt media or anything like that anymore because, you know, they're just all fucking bullshit, man. Bullshit artists.
When I was talking about when I said games, I meant like video games, like Minecraft and all this kind of stuff. That's what I was referring to, not stuff like chess.
Rob wants to know. What jobs have you ever done in your life?
Yeah, he's making a sarcastic comment. I'm just going to ignore it because I don't really care enough to answer it.
Okay.
So, but yeah, that's what I was basically referring to, like video games and stuff like that. Those little live streamers. And by the way, when I was talking about some people who talk about movies and stuff, I'm not talking about those kind of people. I'm talking about the people who just go on YouTube and they'll give like a biograph of a character or a freaking or they'll talk about or if like a new movie comes out, they'll make a review of it, or they'll make freaking like in-depth discussions talking about like plot lines and characters. And I'm not talking about stuff that's in depth. I'm talking about just regular shit. like a casual conversation. And I'm like, okay, that's all well and good, but you're gonna make a whole YouTube channel based off of that, and you're gonna make fucking tons of money based probably from little kids who have way too much access to their parents' wallets, so they can give you the money. They usually are the same people that have Patreon accounts and shit. So they just be like, "Oh, please subscribe and to my Patreon, and I'll give you exclusive videos there." So and you'll be able to watch them first. Like, fuck off.
Yeah, but that's hardly unique to just people doing commentary on movies. Like, Patreon is full of grifters. Like, um, absolutely full of grifters.
It really is.
But it's not all grifters. Like, there's some of them actually are worth following. Like, but I don't follow anybody on Patreon. You know, if
Yeah.
why would I? Why would I be bothered? Like, I'm gone that I don't want to listen to anybody anymore. It's hard enough just fucking having to listen to you for half an hour.
Speaking, but trying to speak about a serious worthwhile topic. The Hawaii fires in Hawaii. I've seen a lot of people going around talking about that they're saying that it was directed energy weapons and shit.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
Well, I haven't looked into it personally, so I have no final judgment on it one way or the other. But whenever I hear the term directed energy weapons, I instantly think of that bullshit from the so-called 9/11 truthers, the ones that freaking follow the Judy Woods bullshit. It's like, oh, directed energy weapons destroyed the towers. There were no planes. There were no planes, motherfuckers. It was CGI. It was holograms. Fucking type bullshit. That's what I think of whenever I hear the term directed energy weapons. But then again, we are in the year 2023 now. It's not 2001 no more. So things could be very different. I haven't done research into it, but I'm just going off of what my past experiences.
Well, the technology exists, and yeah, no, it's okay, Rob. That was a fair question. I thought that's okay, but Uni didn't want to answer it, so that's okay. Was a fair question, but yeah, I do believe in the directed energy weapons myself. The technology exists. It's quite serious technology, and I remember back to about a year ago. I was listening to Trump talking, and the way Trump likes to go on and on and on, and he says about all the great things that he done, and I rebuilt our military, and and we have weapons now that you have never seen. And he says, I think we might have seen those weapons, but it's just not public knowledge just yet. Like, we already have enough anecdotal evidence that, like, the Turkey earthquake was not quite a natural disaster, right? Is it a far stretch? Like, how come the fire went on? How come the water went on fire in Lahaina?
Good
Did you
question.
see those videos? Right?
That's a good question. There's directed energy weapons makes some sense. Again, I have no final judgment on the matter. It's probably true, but I'm not going to give a final answer to that because I don't know. I can safely say though that anyone who wants to try using it for 9/11 excuse is fucking bullshit. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the Hawaii fire. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe, probably. I mean, I've seen. I think the Chinese government was talking about that, talking about directing energy weapons involved in these disasters.
Yeah, I could imagine what they're like. They try and they'd unleash their laser weapon on New York, and it probably wouldn't work as expected, and everybody would just wake up the next day and all their hair burnt off. And says, "Oops, what happened? What happened? It did not work. It didn't work." But the Japanese tech isn't the fucking best at the end of the day, so I wouldn't worry about them too much. Like, but what have the Americans got? Like, that they're not telling. What's on those platforms up in fucking space, man? And and I don't believe that they have. They have bigger tech. They have bigger tech. They just haven't released the the proper information about what they fucking got just yet. And I don't know whether the Russians have it or not. I'm not sure. But whatever America has, it's pretty fucking powerful. I'm pretty sure about that.
Oh, Chris, thank you for bringing this up. I was actually just about to bring that up. Opera, yeah, and she actually hired private firemen to secure her property before the fire started in Maui. So there you
Did
go.
she not get the memo to just paint her fucking roof blue?
Oh God.
Did you see that there was a load of photographs going around with all the cars were burnt out, and then in the middle of all the burnt out melted cars, there was one car that was blue. It looked intact. It was like, okay, right, who painted that in Photoshop? It was like, holy shit. I don't know, man. I have no inside knowledge, like, but that's just the way this stupid brain of mine works.
Yeah. Well, who knows? It's a big it's a big giant conundrum. Not really worth going into unless you're actually like directly over there. In my opinion, it's just like it's not affecting you at the end of the day. So it's just like you can have some speculation. But I don't really think it's something that's worth like pulling your hair out over. It's the same how I feel this Ukraine crap. Just like it has. It's just like I'm more worried about my own life and about what's going on in it than I am about something that's happening across the fucking planet. I feel like that's more important. I mean, I'm not saying that's not important. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying at the end of the day, you're not gonna be doing anything about it. So why the hell should I even bother caring about something like that? I'll leave it to the people who actually can do something about it.
I didn't welcome you to the chat, Black Dahlia. Welcome. And yeah, it is very, very strange. But I think part of the factor might have involved in that, like, if it's true, if the story is true, the official story is true, that like whatever wind came down and through that area, knocked down the electrical posts, allegedly. The electrical wires apparently allegedly set fire to the scrub, which was overgrown there, and the wind direction took it away from that sort of general area and through the old part of Lahaina, through the indigenous people's homes. I don't know. I would love to, but there's a lot of secrecy around that particular area at the moment. Like, why is there a black fence all the way around the area? Nobody allowed in, no reporters allowed in. What the fuck happened? Is it true that there's 2,000 children missing, or is the more correct number 1,200? But clearly, there's a lot of questions to be answered here, and I'm not finding any answers at the moment now. Only a lot of stuff, and you got a lot of people just calling sort of like a conspiracy theory on it. Like, I don't know, but we're clearly not getting all the information we need out of there. Not that we deserve the information. It's like, if this is part of the greater war that's in progress, like, it'll be years before we find out the goddamn truth. If it was an attack on that level, we won't know for years, probably, or if ever. So, but hopefully there's not 2,000 children missing there. That's unthinkable. Unthinkable.
More children than that go missing every single year from freaking child trafficking. So, wouldn't surprise me.
250,000 in America.
And
right? In England, I think 25,000 children go missing every year.
Sounds about right.
Go missing.
Yeah, go missing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, just go missing.
Yep, they just poof and disappear into thin air.
There's a case going on here in Ireland at the moment too. 250 migrant children have just disappeared out of care homes in this country. 250. Where the fuck are they gone? Nobody seems to know. Where are they gone?
Well, of course, you got all these. You got all the migrants coming in. That's just more children to go missing. It's just there you go. There's another reason why they let the migrants in. Free children. There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, by the way, John Smith made a good point here. Hawaii should sue the U.S. for independence. They really should, though. They really should, considering that they weren't even supposed to be a part of the U.S. to begin with. But the Spanish American War and the Filipino conflict kind of changed all that. So let's not even freaking mention that.
Yeah, well, America just squat there then, don't they?
I mean, pretty much. And of course, we all know what that led to in 1941. But yeah, so yeah, so the Hawaiian fires, are they even still going on, or is that whole thing done?
Um, Bits and pieces coming out, just no clarification. Just the odd video here and there of locals asking all the questions that are being asked here in the chat tonight, basically.
Fair
And
enough.
nobody, a lot of the videos I've seen of first-hand testimony from people inside Lahaina, they all say the same thing. This was not a natural event.
I believe it. I mean, it makes perfect sense. They do a lot of shit that's freaking not natural. I mean, let's take for example the what happened, that thing that happened in Beirut a few years ago, the explosion that happened there.
Oh yeah, the phosphates went up. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of suspicious stuff going on. Although I don't like to be, although in recent times I've been one to not immediately jump on the conspiracy bandwagon and immediately assume that something is afloat, and that's because like
Well, it's
half the
important
time.
not to do that. Yeah, very, very important not to do that. That should be the last place you go, really. But carry on.
Yeah, basically because there's too many of these, like for example, with a lot of the school shootings, you got all these grifters in the media who like to say, oh, it was a false flag, no one died, it was all just a show,
What?
and
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. John is saying the figure is misleading. Um, that figure is misleading. Most of them kids are found soon after being reported, but there are still plenty not found. Again, okay, so there's still a lot missing. But I'd imagine so. Like from what I've been hearing about inside in the devastated zone, John, bodies were just turned to dust. That's what I've been hearing.
wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I saw the movie. Actually, I already forgot what it was called. The movie that was in theaters a few months ago. I can't believe I forgot what it was. But what it's called. But yeah, he was talking about child trafficking, and very interesting. And it makes it a good point that there's a lot more to child trafficking. And
Is that
and
that film with Tim Ballard?
yes, yes, that's the one. Yes, that's the one.
I see he's in hot water at the moment as well too. He's been accused of really nefarious stuff, and it's like there's a lot of drama going around Tim Ballard now. Just at the moment, he's been accused by several women of being. Yeah, I'll actually read. I highlighted a few bits. Sound feed. Tim Ballard. He resigned from Operation Underground Railroad, which is OUR, the acronym OUR, due to claims of sexual misconduct. He recently said he was considering a run for Mitt Romney's Senate seat, blah, 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 blah. According to a letter published by Vice News and our employee, which is the Operation Underground Railroad, who accompanied Ballard on an undercover operation, accused him of sexual harassment. He's quoted as saying, several weeks ago, our employee who accompanied Tim on an undercover operation filed a sexual harassment complaint against him with ours HR department. In the July letter reads, this resulted in an extensive internal investigation into Tim and his individual operation tactics and led to more women speaking up as part of the investigation progress. Another quote here was, it was ultimately revealed through disturbingly specific and parallel accounts that Tim had been deceitfully and extensively grooming and manipulating multiple women for the past few years with an ultimate intent of coercing them to participate in sexual acts with him under the premise of going where it takes and doing whatever it takes to save a child. I can't vouch. Look, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of fucking stuff being bandied about by a lot of people, and I believe the shit about Russell Brand. And I believe the stuff about Tim Ballard because there's something really nefarious about. That's the Sound of Freedom film, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
Sound of Freedom.
and there's a very, very dodgy connections to Sound of Freedom. Like, the guy, I can't remember his bloody name. He's a Mexican cartel fucking leader, like, who was one of the main funders of that goddamn film. Like, what's a drug cartel boss doing funding a film like that? Like, so look, I'm sorry. I don't believe the Sound of Freedom. I think it's a load of fucking bullshit. I think it's a LARP. I think it's a psyop. And I think probably the accusations against Ballard are probably true. I don't know, but that's what I guess. I'd imagine they are true because it goes with that fucking shit, man. It goes with the business, man. We all know it. Like, everybody knows it.
Yeah. I disagree with you on that, but hey, we can agree to disagree on that because,
No,
but-
I don't agree that you disagree. You have to agree. Fuck that. This is not a fucking democracy here, right? You're either going to agree or that's it.
Democracy. Demonocracy. I like that. I like that name better. It makes more sense.
Of course, Sean. Nothing is going to happen to Brand. Do you know what? Brand is such an annoying bastard, right? And I just can't get over, like, Brand is living rent-free in so many people's heads at the moment. It's unreal, like. And I'm not even going to talk about him, but I just couldn't help but mention it, like, but Brand is living rent-free in fucking the majority of the population's head right fucking now. It's unreal. He's getting way more publicity than he fucking deserves, the little cunt.
Is it weird that I'm probably the only person here who has no idea who that even is? No.
Yeah, well, you'll hear nothing more from me. Fuck him.
Fair
I'm
enough.
not going to give him any more airtime. Fuck the bastard. Can't be arsed. All these fucking truthers, they can go suck my fucking cock.
Oh, fair enough. Oh man, but yeah, with what's it called? This the back to the Hawaii thing though, real quick. When it comes to Hawaii, it's always been a very hot spot, kind of like Canada, like BC, for example. When it comes to fires, there's a lot of shit. There's a lot of fires that always go on over there, and just like over in BC and Canada, and over here in western U.S. and like in Oregon and stuff, there's always a lot of like forest fires going on in the summer. Usually because of people not taking care of the fucking forest enough. They just keep building shit, keep building.
Yeah. See, Trump was right, wasn't he? The problem is you need to go out and sweep the forest, right? You have to sweep the forest, he said. Remember?
I do vaguely remember that one, yeah.
What a bollocks. Yeah.
Well, to be fair, a lot of people do litter and throw stupid shit on the ground when they shouldn't be. So that is that is also true at the end of the day. That ignoring the green bullshit for a moment, the people do genuinely need to, and I'm not talking about people like us. I'm talking about just people in general need to at least try to take care of the environment, not be stupid dickheads and just like, oh, I'm going to drive down the road and randomly throw my fucking beer bottle out the window and hopefully it won't hit the guy that's driving next to me. I've seen that shit happen a lot lately. It's so stupid. And just just people being dickheads, especially on like holidays when they love to set off fireworks and shit, not thinking about what could happen by doing that. Oh, let me set off a big ass firework in a neighborhood that's like trees are everywhere, like big ass oak trees and shit are everywhere. I'm just gonna light a fucking firework and it's gonna go right up into the sky and it totally won't hit the damn tree and light it on fire and shit. And just people being fucking stupid. Not to mention also like like how do you think the animals feel about it? Like the fucking dogs, the birds and shit. They don't give a shit about that. It's like, oh no, it's just gotta be loud as shit. Set off the fireworks.
Fireworks are fine as long as just used safely and
yes.
But unfortunately, and I've seen it happen too many times, like people get hurt with these fucking things because like just little cunts going around acting like fucking arseholes, you
Yep.
know, treating them like RPGs and setting them off flying down a street or across the fucking path or somewhere like that. It's nuts, man. I hate fireworks now, and I hate little bastards who use them. I have no time for fireworks anymore, and I'm not saying they should be fucking banned, like, you know, but I think the people who are little arseholes should be put away, the little cunts. That's what I
Yeah.
think. I've seen
Yeah.
a few people. I've seen a few people injured with fireworks, and it's not pretty, like, you know. So
Yeah, it's like, look at me, and look at me, mommy. I got this firecracker in my hand. Let me wave it around. I'm so cool. Let me point it at this guy's window real quick.
there's a Portuguese lad, right, who lives locally here. He's been here for years, man. He's a good lad, like, you know, he's good. I won't mention his name or nothing. So, but we were at a party it was New Year's Eve. We were at a party, right, and so it was time for the fireworks to be set off. And the little Portuguese lad, he decided he was going to go up to this screamer, right? He went, picked up the screamer. He was going to set the screamer off, right? So he picked it up. He lit the fuse, right? He lit the fuse, and next thing he was stood there with a firework, and he didn't know what to do. And he says, "Ah!" What did he do? He dropped it on the ground. The little do you know a screamer?
No.
Oh man, screamers, they're bastards of things, right? A screamer, like when it's used properly, what it does is it shoots up fucking really high into the fucking air. Then it takes a sharp dive down and whooshes down and it comes down over people's heads and goes back up. But this thing was fucking flying across the garden for about fucking 5 minutes, man. Everybody was running for cover, ducking on the ground like this. It's a bastard of a screamer won't fucking stop us. Holy shit. I swear to God.
Wow. So stupid.
We should have hung him from a tree, that little bastard, that Portuguese bastard.
Oh man, people in their fireworks, man, they just be shooting them off them. And you know what's even worse is when the drunk motherfuckers do it. Like they get drunked off their ass and from partying, and then they go out and try to light fireworks. Or and then after that they drive too on top of it just to make it even worse, because the roads aren't bad enough, right? We got to make it much worse.
Well, I don't know how bad it is in America. What I've heard of America is America's fairly safe on the roads, and everybody knows how the roads fucking work. And
no, they fucking don't.
No,
they fucking don't. Oh fuck, no, they don't. God, just the other day there was a fucking accident just down the road from me. Literally, like not even like a mile down the road from me, there was a fucking car that crashed up against a damn tree and totaled his car. And you know, granted, I don't know the details of it, but still,
you'll get an odd accident, like. But in general, like, I tell you why I know this, because I follow a lot of truckers, right? There's a good few content creators that drive trucks, in particular Peterbilts, and they give out a bit about drivers and stuff like that. But for the driving that I've seen now on American roads, everybody seems to sort of like have an idea like what they're doing, like, you know, they seem to. But you always get the odd asshole, right? You always get the odd asshole. You'll get that everywhere, you know. So you'll always get the odd gobshite man who just can't help but fucking wrap himself around a fucking tree, like, you know. But you know, you'll get that, like, you know. You're in a city, aren't you?
Well, not in a city, but near a city.
Suburbia. You're in suburbia, are you?
Sure.
Yeah, well, you're going to get that, like, you know, where you got large congregations, you're going to get fucking accidents. Can't be avoided, like, you know. But tell you what, Irish drivers, they're scary bastards. You know, give me an American driver any day of the goddamn fucking week. They seem to know what they're doing. But anyway, as for Irish drivers, fuck them. You know, they should be off the road. The whole lot. Bring on the Great Reset, you know. Put them into the 15-minute cities.
I was about to mention that. Yeah, the 15-minute cities, the smart cities. Throw them in there. They can't go nowhere. Oh, man, some of these people need to fucking go in there, I swear. But I will say, though, freaking yeah, James, yeah, that's a good point as well. There's way too many damn potholes on the road, and of course the government spends too much money on stupid shit, but they won't actually fix the roads. Of course, spend all the money to Ukraine, but don't fix the roads because who needs those, right?
Okay, so that's a serious problem up in Scotland, then, James. The holes in the roads. That used to be an issue back here in Ireland back in the day. So things have improved over the years, but then that's something got to do with like European funding that kept coming in to improve the roads. Like, so the roads aren't quite as fucking bad as they used to be, So it's interesting to hear that Scotland have got a pothole problem. I mean, come on, you guys are in the UK. Holy shit, man! I thought you were in a civilized country over there,
Oh God, pothole central. Oh man, but yeah.
But I don't mind. I don't mind old people driving, Chris. They're not too bad. It's the cunts that are always in the hurry. They're the ones that bother me because, do you know what? They're a bunch of fucking arseholes. They're always in a hurry somewhere, and they can't wait to fucking overtake somebody who they think is going fucking slow, right? So you got somebody driving along in a chitty chitty bang bang bus, right? You got this guy in a Porsche, right, fucking behind him, and he's going fucking nuts, man. He's saying, and then 10 minutes later, like chitty chitty bang bang bus comes up behind him at the crossroads because Porsche can't get out the fucking way. There's too much fucking traffic on the road, so he doesn't get fucking anywhere. So I don't mind the slow drivers at all. I like them actually. I have a lot of respect for slow drivers, and they're not all old, but it's like just one of those things, man.
I'd rather slow drivers because at least you don't have to worry about them fucking speeding up randomly and going and crashing into the back of your car, or even worse, the ones who just go woo, trying to show off and shit. When they're hitting the brakes and the fucking throttle at the same time, and the damn car sounds like it's about to explode, and sometimes it actually does. But then they end up just going and driving in circles, trying to show off in their fancy Corvettes or whatever, thinking that they're cool. And then it's especially funny in those videos where the police, well, it just so happens to see and they start driving after him. The guy just fucking throttles it out of there, like, oh shit! Get wrecked, dude. Karma's a bitch.
That's a good film, John. By the way, that's a good film. The Field. There's a lot of there's a lot of. You'll see a lot of Ireland, you'll see a lot of the Irish spirit in The Field, because that's the way it is over here. It's all about the land, right? It's all about land. Good film. Very, very good film. And Chris is saying, like, he's patient drivers as well, raging at the old people. Yeah, do you know what? I do. If there was a God, right? This is why I know that there's the idea that God is overseeing everything here. I question that, because if there was a God, he'd have all those fucking arseholes who go fucking around like nutcases on the roads. They'd be in the ditch about a mile down the road, So where they should be, wrapped around the goddamn fucking tree. Can't stand the bastards, all those idiots that just... What's the fucking hurry? Would you relax the fuck? Where the fuck do you think you're going? What's the goddamn rush? But anyway,
yeah. It's especially bad, and I heard that Canada has it even worse. Like, it's just like if you have a sign saying it's like you're supposed to go 40, people go like 70. If you have a sign saying go 60, people go like fucking 100. And if you have a sign saying like 80, it just go as fast as you want. Go 200 down the road. Who gives a shit? Yeah.
I'm not against speed, speed is not the issue. The issue is like when you become dangerous on the goddamn road. If you're on a clear road, if you're on a fucking clear road, there's no goddamn danger. Sure.
Yeah, that's different.
Put your foot down. Fucking why not, man? Wrap yourself around that goddamn tree. But
exactly.
If conditions aren't conducive, if there's other traffic on the goddamn road, well, then you have to have a little bit of respect.
Exactly.
This idea, you got... I watch all the driving going on over here. Like most of the drivers are about 2 foot up each other's fucking arses, right? You know, they're flying along at fucking 80 to 100 kph. They're up each other's fucking arses, and if something goes wrong in front and somebody jams on the brakes, it says, "Right, well, there you go. You're in trouble, buddy."
Yeah, they think that car is something that you can just stop, like, just by snapping your fingers to stop.
They must do. They must do. Like, they must do.
Yeah, I especially hate those fuckers who like have the really expensive cars and they do that, because those are always like the really cocky little like teenagers or people in their 20s or whatever, like the really arrogant fuckers who think that they're on top of the world because they fucking spent like hundreds of thousands of dollars on this damn car, and then they go and fucking plow it like 2 days later after getting it. They show off and they just run into a damn tree or something. It's so funny. I'm just like, yo, that's what you get, fucking loser.
So come here. We're way over the time here, Uni. We're way over the time. A lot longer than I expected to fucking go here now tonight. So I'm going to round things up, all right? I'm going to round things up. I'm going to chuck the link into the chat now for anybody who wants to join in for an after chat or whatever. You're very welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Hope this wasn't too long now tonight. It actually was. It was very long. I'm getting worse than Cookie now. I'm getting worse than Cookie. We're 2 hours 20 fucking minutes. So, but anyway, look, we will chat to you next. We'll chat to you here next Saturday night, same time, same place. See us on Monday night over on Cookies. Yeah, Doc Rob is on Tuesday. And there's no point plugging Wednesday because Doc Rob will plug Wednesday and Thursday. Steve Turgoose, of course. And we will call it quits now for tonight. That's it. That's me done and dusted. You're welcome, James. You're welcome. And thanks for tuning in, everyone. Fair play to you. It's been nice to have a bit of company here for tonight. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. That's all I can fucking say.
Yep.
Oh, don't forget, batten down the hatches. Big storm on the way in next week. I didn't fucking tell you. Big storm coming in next fucking week. I'll give you a little heads up on it right now. Just before we go, I just want to give you a heads up on it. It's probably going to affect anybody along the coast on the Irish Sea, up the south coast of Ireland and stuff like that. Just let me just do a quick screen share on this shit here. So that's the this one here is Tropical Storm Nigel. It's not a tropical storm anymore, but it's disappearing off. But what I'm looking at developing out here at the moment is after Nigel skips off up to the northwest. Wait till you see it. It should be developing here now in just a minute. Where's it gone? Don't tell me, Dave. There it is. There it is. This will be on the 27th. So about 3 to 4 days from now. This is going to be a very, very big storm. I haven't got all the details on it just now at the minute, but actually, I think it's changed. But watch out for this next Wednesday. This will be coming in. So be careful around the coast if you're on the coastline, stuff like that. Just keep an eye out for it. These storms do change very, very rapidly. Like the projections can change. It doesn't look as intense as it looked about 3 hours ago. So just we'll be keeping an eye on it anyway. So just watch out for that. Be careful on the coastlines next Wednesday and Thursday. So take care, everyone, and we will chat to you all very, very soon. Good night, all. I'll just put that link in one more time for everyone.
Yeah. Mind if I say one more thing before you go? Before we go? Or
okay, as long as it's not dirty now.
No. I was just gonna say that. Speaking of storms, there was actually a big giant storm that was going on near in the ocean near the East Coast on 9/11. Just a little Easter egg for people.
Okay. So watch out. This could be the big one. Thanks, Judy.